Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Rick here today, coming in with the first NBA video of the R&R Sports channel, which is super exciting because we finally made the collaboration happen. Me and my brother have been talking about it for a while, how he needs some more help with the channel, and I'm super excited to bring this kind of content to you guys because I love making this kind of content. I want to get Ryan to jump in on some of these eventually with me, and we can really have some really good discussions with it, but for the time being, with our both having kids and all that, it's kind of crazy. So we're going to work on that eventually. But today I'm bringing you guys my top 10 power rankings in the NBA right now. Obviously, it's way too early for power rankings, but why not have a way too early power ranking / predictions here? And it's kind of been a crazy start to the season. So we have some really good teams going to be towards the bottom of this list to start. And then some teams that are kind of surprising at the top, especially with some of them having some injuries. So, and they're performing really well without some key players. So let's jump on into this, guys. Coming in at number 10, we have the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are a very good team. Obviously, they were the number 1 seed in the East last year. They barely got beat out by the Celtics last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're only going to get better probably this year. Obviously, we have Jimmy Butler kind of getting up there in age a little bit, but he should be in his peak prime right now. He's got some of the best mid-range game in the NBA. You have Tyler Hero, who's off to an atrocious start, which is probably the main reason why they're not doing well, because they really don't shoot the ball well at the three-point line, which everyone has to be able to do that in this time. Like, the NBA is so based around the three-point now that if you're not hitting your threes, you're probably just a step behind everyone. And I think they're going to step that up. Obviously, they have Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Vincent's okay, but they really need to work on shooting the ball better. They really need to probably go out and try to acquire someone if they want to really take this team to that next level. Bam is unbelievable. Like, they really need to focus that offense around him more. That's going to create way more shooting opportunities for these guys that are kind of inconsistent, so they can get some more consistency. So the Heat come down at number 10 for me right now, 2-5 to start the season. A little bit of a surpriser. Coming in at number 9 for me, the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors. This is probably going to piss Warriors fans off because I'm wearing a Suns jersey. I'm a Suns fan. I'm not being biased here. I promise you. I look at it how it is. Right now, the Warriors are playing almost negative defense. And maybe it's just because they're just getting back into the season. Obviously, the regular season really doesn't matter to those guys at this point. Like, they're kind of getting up there in age. They don't really have anything to prove to anyone at this point. So they're like, hey, maybe let's just take it a little bit easier. I know they're limiting minutes on Clay, a few other people. Some of the young guys look really good, like James Wiseman looks phenomenal, but they're giving up a ton of points to teams that really aren't that good. They dropped the game to the Detroit Pistons today, and Cade Cunningham absolutely just tore them a new one. So I don't know. The Warriors are in an interesting spot. Do we think they can repeat this year? They definitely could repeat this year. I mean, if Wiseman's there and getting better, they only are deeper than last year. Obviously, they had some off-court issues with, I mean, maybe technically on-court issues when Draymond absolutely socked Jordan Poole in the face. But other than that, I mean, I'm not too worried about them yet. I just have them low on the list right now because they've had some pretty ugly losses. Coming in at number 8, the Philadelphia 76ers. This one, they're also in the same category as the Warriors. They're both 3-4 right now. And 76ers, I think they have a much bigger issue than people are willing to say. This team is 100% dependent on James Harden, which at this point in his career is not a good thing. The reason I say that is because obviously Embiid's the number 1 there. Like, he's supposed to be able to carry the team. But like I was talking about earlier, you have to be able to shoot the ball. You need to be able to score when you need to. And when you have a big guy like Embiid, yes, he can go get you 30 a night. But what is the rest of the team doing? Tobias Harris gets way underused and he's way overpaid, first off, but like, he gets way underused. And then you need James Harden to go out and be the James Harden that everyone wants him to be. That MVP level James Harden, where he needs to get probably at least 20. I'll be leaning on. He needs to get 24 a night with probably 7 rebounds and 10 assists for that team to be that next tier of like championship. For them to have a chance, he needs to hit that level because Tyrese Maxey has already looking like the most improved player in the NBA. He already dropped 44. The dude's disgusting. I mean, he is probably one of the most he's rode just like under the radar. And now Maxey is disgusting. And I'm excited to see him as a full-time starter for the 76ers. He is an exciting player, and he's another guy. I mean, he could just elevate that team to the next level, but they need Harden to distribute that basketball and score it when he needs to. Next, coming at number 7, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. They obviously went out in the offseason and like basically reconstructed their whole lineup because they went and got Rudy, but sent literally all their picks and all of their bench to Utah, which Utah's not making this list. They are actually surprisingly good because they have a bunch of bench players that they have a lot of experience, and they actually are it's pretty solid, but I don't think they're a top 10 team right now. But Timberwolves, I think they just have to work out some kinks. I think they're going to be a very hard team to score on for certain teams in the league because you have 2 7-footers that are in the starting lineup. So, and like not just 7-footers, like defensive player of the year 7-footer. Yeah, some people will not give Rudy Gobert his credit, but like he's defensive player of the year. He is defending that paint like no one's business. Probably the best rebounder in the NBA. And then you have Cat, who's not that bad on defense on his own, but is more of an offensive threat. So you have them in the starting lineup together. It's absolutely just disgusting. So they're probably going to take some time to figure it out. And then you obviously have Russell, who's a solid point guard, kind of can distribute the ball pretty well. And then Ant-Man is just someone that can go out and get you 30 every single night. So that team is one I really am interested to see. The Suns actually play them in 2 days, and I'm very intrigued to see how the Suns do against that because their whole offense is pretty much based around the mid-range for the Suns, and you got 2 big boys in there, so I'm interested to see that matchup. We've typically destroyed the Timberwolves over the past few years, but I don't know. New team. Coming at 6, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. They're number 6 right now because they have currently dropped to, 4-2. I thought for sure that they should have won one of the games in there that they lost. They lost in overtime to the Jazz, actually. And they're having some injury issues right now. I think this is actually one of the scariest teams in the NBA when they're healthy. Can Zion stay healthy a whole season? I don't know. He already got hurt once. Brandon Ingram, I'm not worried about him. He typically has an injury here and there throughout the season, but usually nothing too big. He's out for a concussion right now. So he kind of got unlucky. He got decked. And then Herbert Jones is out, and I think he'll be just fine. So that team's really scary. If their bench is insanely deep. And Jonas is probably the most underpaid center in the NBA. That guy can go out and get you 15 rebounds on any given night and put up 20. And he gets paid almost nothing compared to some of these centers. Like DeAndre Ayton for the Suns has a max contract, and honestly, Jonas might be better than him on a consistent basis. But that Pelicans team, watch out for them. I do think that is a top probably 4 team in the NBA once they get healthy, if they can stay healthy. And I'm not over exaggerating that. Like, watch out for that team. Coming in at number 5, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. I only have them at 5 right now because, once again, Ja's already hurt. I don't think it's anything serious, but he's hurt. And the way he plays the game above the rim, I mean, it's just it's inevitable. He's going to get hurt. It's just the way it is. Your body isn't supposed to travel that high in the air, and he does it all game. So, I mean, he's going to get hurt. I think that Desmond Bane is a great number 2. The dude shoots the 3 just as good as anyone in the NBA, and he's strong. He gets to the lane very well. I think their big weak spot is Steven Adams. I think he's a solid defender and rebounder, but shoots the ball 3 times a night. So I think a really good team can just basically just shut down that team by defending the perimeter well and not allowing Ja to drive to the lane, which is really tough because he's very good at it. But I think there's some holes in that lineup. They are very young, though. Very young. Coming in at number 4, we have the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, in my opinion, are probably the best team in the East if they are playing well. Because obviously, if you ask me, their big hole in their lineup is at center. Al Horford, he played phenomenal in the playoffs last year. If you can bring me that Al Horford in the playoffs again, I can 100% say they're the best team in the East. The chances Al does that again, he's getting up there in age. So I don't think that's really going to be a thing. I think that's something that they're going to have to address at some point if they want that team to win. Obviously, Marcus Smart isn't the best point guard in the league, but his defense kind of levels it out. You don't usually see that good of defenders at point guard. Jason Tatum is on an MVP pace right now, and he might not even be the best player on the team, which is kind of crazy to say. I think, I've said this before, I think Jaylen Brown's actually the best player on that team because he just knows his game. I don't think Jason Tatum knows his game yet. The beginning of this year, he looks like he knows his game. But we know when Jason Tatum is hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's not. Like, he's driving to the lane a bit more and working on his mid-range, which is so good for him because he's such a physical guy. He needs to do that more. He needs to take that page out of Jaylen Brown's book and put it into his game because he's such a good, I wouldn't say he's a great three-point shooter, but he's like a good shooter. Like, he could easily go out and shoot near 40% from three if he doesn't take stupid shots, which I think he's slowly getting better at and maturing in his game, but I don't think he's there just yet. But man, very great. He might be the most all-around player in the NBA if you look from like top to bottom. Jason Tatum's like what you want. Coming in at number 3 today, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a team that I really liked last year going into the playoffs, and they upgraded. They got Donovan Mitchell, who we all know Donovan Mitchell has streaks. He's kind of like Jason Tatum in that way where they can just take over a game or they can just lose you a game any given night. So far, I've been super impressed with him because they don't have arguably their best player. Darius Garland's been out and he got poked in the eye. It's super unfortunate. I think his plan is to come back this week. And so I don't think that's really going to be a thing that adds on to anything. But in my opinion, I think Darius Garland is a top probably 4 to 5 point guard in the NBA already. And there's a chance he could push into the top 3 this year because he's going to probably average close to 10 assists a game and he can score about 20 a game. I mean, there's not many point guards out there getting 20 and 10 every night. So will he get 20 and 10? Maybe, but like there's a legitimate chance that if he takes that next step, he could. So they're winning without him right now. They are currently, 5-1, and they've been missing, like I said, arguably their best player. They have Evan Mobley. He's a very good defender and a very big dude. And like him and Jared Allen out there at the same time, good luck scoring in the paint. It's just tough. It really is. They play great defense on that team. And I think there's Donovan Mitchell. I mean, if he is scoring, that's what that team needed. They needed that scorer that could go out and change the game. That team's interesting. Very, very interesting. Coming in at number 2, I have my Phoenix Suns. I'm very surprised on this, by the way. I'm not trying to be like, I will never give you guys a biased Suns video unless I'm talking about the Suns specifically. And it probably won't even be that biased because I'm probably one of the biggest critics when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. I am in love with this team right now. They are playing very good basketball. I've watched every single game. They are playing great basketball, and I was not ready for it yet. Honestly, we started off slow last year, and I was like, all right, we're probably going to start off slow again. We had the whole offseason drama of like, we're getting KD, and then we didn't get anyone in free agency. But that's what people thought. Jock Landale has been an amazing asset for the Suns so far. Amazing. 7-footer that can offensive rebound, which our team has none of because Ayton sucks at rebounding. And then he can shoot the 3 ball if we need to every once in a while. Like, he is a legitimate scoring threat. He had 16 tonight against the Rockets, which the Rockets don't play good defense on centers. But, I mean, 16 points on any given night is pretty solid. So, he's been very surprising. And then where everyone's been kind of worried, I mean, like, we don't have Jay Crowder anymore. Well, technically we do, but he's refusing to play. Cam Johnson, he's going to find his groove eventually. I think right now, currently, he's been playing pretty bad. He actually had his best game of the night tonight. I think he ended at 19 points. There's so much I could go into the Suns, and I don't want to do the super fan Suns thing right now where I dive super deep. I'll do that in a different video. But the Suns look very good right now. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Everyone was kind of counting them out. I think I saw legitimately a preseason rankings had them at number 11 in the NBA after winning 64 games last year and kept the entire same team. So that was like really surprising to me. Like, I don't understand how that happens. Like, you're top, 3 team, 4 team last year, and then you're just not anymore. I understand how the season ended, but I'm surprised with how they're playing. You have Shaman off the bench playing well, and you have Campaign playing phenomenal right now. If those guys all play consistent, Suns might win more games than last year. Coming in at number 1 for me, though, it's got to be the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks right now, Giannis was telling us that he wasn't feeling that good going into the season. The dude just had 17 rebounds the other game. Like, the dude is a physical freak, and I don't think anyone can ever argue it. I just realized I didn't even talk about Devin Booker on the Suns. He's on an MVP pace right now, just a heads up. But the Milwaukee Bucks, we have just, they're 5-0. They're 5-0 right now, and they don't have arguably their second best player in Chris Middleton. That's honestly mind-blowing to me. They're playing very good. They're playing amazing defense. They're only giving up 103 points a game, which is number 1 in the NBA, and they're scoring 113 a game. They have a great difference. I mean, they're a very solid team right now, and they're only getting better, which is kind of scary to think about. I think everyone was a little surprised last year when they choked in the playoffs, and I think they're just kind of like the Suns in that form of, like, they have a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove again. Like, it's really hard to go back to back in the NBA or just any league in general. So I think that when you lose last season, they have that chip and they're just going after it again. So that's my rankings, guys. I have, just to list them off super quick for you, I have the Heat at 10, Warriors at 9, 76ers at 8, Timberwolves at 7, Pelicans at 6, Grizzlies at 5, Celtics at 4, Cavaliers at 3, Suns at 2, and the Bucks at 1 currently for our way too early of power rankings. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure you guys do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.